Hi everybody, I am so excited about today's video. I have been waiting for so long to share this stuff with you. I wanted to make a save file that not only had customized worlds that were very different from what we already have in the game, but I wanted to make it fully populated with lots of different types of families and single sims and a couple pets. There are a lot of empty houses and apartments for you to move your own sims into, but there are a lot of households, a lot of sims. If your computer for some reason cannot handle that many, feel free to just delete the ones that you don't want and tell your own kind of story, but there's a lot for you to explore here. I am going to be going over just some basic bios of each family. I am going to have their household descriptions on the screen, but I'm not going to read all of them because it would take absolutely forever. I think it's already going to be a long video just because I'm going to be talking about this stuff for a little while. There are 44 households. I have been working on this from August 2024 to August 2025, and I've been trying to make sure that there's a lot of lore, a lot of different relationships, a lot of family dynamics, a variety of sims. I am probably going to be looking for some people to play test it. I'm not really sure how I'm going to pick people for that yet because I don't want to just release it to everybody at once if it still has flaws. I will probably figure out how I'm going to do that. I'll post something about it on my Patreon, so if you follow me over there, you will find out more information. I'm going to jump in, and if you want to read the bios yourself, I will probably also post this on Tumblr and maybe Patreon. First up, we have the Augustine household. So this is a foster family. Ren is the foster parent. Josephina has been there the longest. She is a rebellious, kind of bossy teenager. She's really into acting. She also works part-time at a Renaissance fair, performing on the stage there. And she doesn't get along with Rain, who is a child who is very interested in like snow sports and being very active. So the two of them bicker all the time. Andy is the new arrival. He is a young musician, and he's sort of a buffer between them as he gets settled in. They don't want to necessarily be screaming their heads off all the time because they both think he's pretty cool. Next, we have the Ballard family. Serena is a trans woman, and she is also the town's mayor. So she runs the city hall as a small business venue, and she's often giving speeches and teaching people. She's very passionate about social justice. Her ex-wife is May, who you will meet later, and Judah is their son. He is a little musician, and he's getting into punk music, and he's kind of rebellious because he's just going through a lot. They are a lovely little family, but they do have their issues that the little one is struggling with. Next, we have the Calderon family. We have Marco and Lila. They are extremely loving, caring parents. They care so much about nature. Marco is a teacher, Lila is a gardener, and Zara is an adventurous teenage girl. She loves hanging out with her friends. She's exploring what she's interested in. She's not exactly sure what passion she wants to pursue in life just yet. Next, we have the Clark family. They are also one of the earliest families that I made, and I'm very fond of them. Haven and Elliot have two sons, Danny and Cole. Haven is a fantastic musician. She has opened a performing arts school where she teaches music lessons, and she also has hired other teachers to teach things like theater, acting, singing, and other instruments. Elliot is her husband. He is an aspiring chef. He works at a local pizza place, which is owned by another family. Then we've got Danny. He's a teenager. He's kind of exploring his identity. He's an artist. And then Cole is a musician, and he wants to be just like his mother. Next, we have the Corley family. I love their house a lot. You're gonna, I think, have fun visiting there and also maybe playing as them. Riley is a single dad. He is raising his daughter, Jada. They both have a family farm that has pick your own vegetables and flowers, and I'm pretty sure I put like a nectar making area in there. Then there's a little like farmer's market. Jada will bake things to sell, and then there's also a petting zoo. So basically they have their cow and chickens and goats and sheep, and you can go there with your sims and you can play with the animals, and you can also pick your own vegetables. Next, we have Alder Emery. He is kind of an odd guy. He's pretty shady. He's like cool, but then he does a bunch of stuff that like is not cool. His business is one of the only things I might take out of the save file because it's the only thing that's really like, I guess, mature content. I mean, not anything like crazy, but he has a nightclub, but it's secretly like a love club, you know what I mean? I think I might release a separate version of the save file that doesn't have that because there are a few sims that work there that you're gonna meet later in this video, and then, you know, that other optional release will be like just a nightclub. But anyway, he runs this very neon nightclub that is up in a penthouse apartment. He basically inherited a bunch of money, and he's just a party animal, so he invested a whole bunch into turning his apartment into like a crazy nightclub where people come and party, but it definitely attracts people who don't want other people to know that they're there, if you know what I mean. Next, we have Evangeline Floyd. She is a businesswoman who earned enough money to live in a beautiful, big, modern house, and she had also opened a jewelry store. She's very classy and elegant. Next we have Kahia Gozal, and she's new to town. She opened a bakery. She loves to make ice cream and sweets, even though she's lactose intolerant and can't eat most of what she bakes. This is Cloud Halverson, and they are a non-binary cafe owner. I love the cafe that Cloud owns. It's very colorful and welcoming, and it is absolutely a hub for all of the LGBTQ+ Sims in the town. The Hargrove family is a very punk and creative family. Vikram has cheated on Amara, and she is not happy about that, obviously. She's a writer. She leads a writers guild. She wants to leave her husband, but she doesn't want to do that to her daughter because her daughter is already dealing with enough. She is enemies with another little girl named Iris, and she doesn't really know why Iris hates her, but she's dealing with a lot right now, and Amara doesn't want to put her through anything else. Next, we have the Hewitt household, which is technically two households, but I put them together because they are sisters. Neotha is very sweet and kind and creative. She bought an old mechanic shop, and then she kind of renovated it into a pottery studio where she sells ceramics and she also teaches pottery. She has a little dog that loves her, but the dog is very aggressive towards others. Lula has a beauty business that she runs out of her apartment. She wants to have a bigger apartment and be able to afford better things, so to supplement her income, she works at Alder Emery's Love Club. Next, we've got the Hope Vernon family. It's a young couple, Sheena and Leon. Sheena is a streamer. She loves playing video games, and she really wants to start a family. And Leon wants to open his own food stand. So the two of them just moved into their home. They have boxes that have some things in them that you can actually unpack for them and get to know them a little bit more. Then we have Felicity and Ryland Kale. Their parents are off traveling the world. We don't really know what happened to them though, because they haven't been seen in a while. So Felicity is kind of stuck with her younger brother, and she's been raising him. They're staying in a boarding house with other eccentric people living there. She had a little bit of a messy romance with her boss. They just broke up and she's dealing with that, but she wants to become an influencer. Rylan is very socially awkward, but he has managed to make one friend. Unfortunately, that friend is a very bad influence. Now we have the Keen Heath household. Russell and Victor are engaged. Russell owns a jazz bar with a counseling center next to it. Victor is a comedian, so he'll perform there, but he also likes to do community theater. Victor's children are Esty or Estella and Milo. Esty is a musician who plays her violin, and her best friends are Danny and Andy. She also gets along with her younger brother, and she's excited to have a stepdad. Milo is super energetic, and Aspen is just all over the place. She loves creating, she loves upcycling and fabrication, so she's always collecting things and leaving things all around the house, which drives everybody nuts. Her dad, Russell, just really wants her to move out and be a little more responsible, but she is happy just making a mess and being very creative. Shirley Kelly is a sculptor. She is living in the basement apartment of her secret boyfriend's mansion. His family does not realize that she is not just a tenant, she is actually his secret girlfriend, and Noelle is their child that they had together. She has no desire to do anything but sculpt and take care of her kids. She doesn't pay rent because she's got a nice arrangement happening, and she thinks if anything happens and he starts asking her for money, she could just blackmail him, honestly, and stay in that apartment forever. Next, we have the Kincaid family, and they are a 4-generation family. We've got Lance. He is an artist. He's retired, but he also bartends just for fun. His son is Martin, who is a trans man. He's very athletic. He opened a retirement center to take care of people like his father. Their retirement center has a couple of apartments in it, but it's not really meant to be the place where people stay. It's really just like a senior community center. His daughter is Marie, and she loves writing. Marie has a son named Shane, who is very curious about everything. Next, we've got Henry and Reese Luna. I like the two of them a lot. They are brothers. Henry is a veterinarian. He has a cat named Cinnamon. While he's very social, he doesn't really want to get into a romantic relationship or anything. He kind of just wants to focus on his career. Reese is his brother, who has a dog named Shiloh. Reese opened a tattoo parlor and bought the barcade next to his apartment. And then Henry also owns an animal hospital. Next, we've got the Maganagiri family. Ophelia and Winter are married. They are both into science. Winter really likes photography, science-based photography, like taking photos through telescopes. And Ophelia is a genius that has made a lot of money and has gotten a lot of fame in the science world. So she used her fortune to open up a science museum. And I think that is one of the coolest places that I have built in this entire save file. So I would definitely recommend taking your Sims there for any age. There's stuff for kids and there's stuff for adults too. They also live in an extremely fancy penthouse apartment. It is so luxurious and fancy, but I like them as a couple. I think that they are really fun and they support each other a lot. Next, we have Layla Valentine and Theo Mason. They are separate households. They live in different apartments, but I put them together because their backstory kind of goes together. Layla and Theo, when they were younger than they would have liked to have been, had a child named Celine, who now lives with Layla's mother, Juliana, and you'll meet them soon. Theo is a civil designer, and he cares a lot about improving the neighborhood, but he doesn't really want to be a parent, and he's kind of awkward with people. Layla does not have a good relationship with her daughter. They've grown pretty distant. Celine definitely resents Layla for that. Layla is trying to become an actress. She's been doing this for a while, but she still hasn't gotten any big gigs, so maybe she's not that good. Next, we have another big family, the Mercer family. We've got Mira and Garrett and their children Leo, Iris, and Jasper. They have an interesting dynamic going on. Garrett and Mira are very paranoid about the world kind of polluting their children's minds, and so they're very controlling, very, very strict. Mira is a little bit more compassionate, but Garrett is pretty tough on his children. Leo is starting to get a bit rebellious because he wants to go out and do things that teenagers would do. Iris is an aspiring musician, but she has a lot of jealousy issues, and she absolutely hates Nyla, who lives across the street. Iris can't afford to have piano lessons, and Nyla can, so she's just taking it out on her that way. It's up to you whether they are going to become friends in the future or if they're going to stay rivals. And then Jasper is an innocent little toddler. He's often found singing little songs that he picks up from his sister Iris. Next, we have the Morales-Galloway family. We've got Caden and Exie. They are in such a toxic relationship. I don't know why they don't break up. Everybody keeps telling them to break up, but they haven't. They live in a little trailer, and they have a bar that is just a hot mess, and Caden gives everybody terrible tattoos. I would not recommend going there, but it might be fun to play as them. Max and May are siblings. May, if you remember from earlier, is Judah's mother and Serena's ex-wife. May moved in with her brother Max, and she's kind of struggling to figure out her new identity as a single woman. And she's really upset that she doesn't live with her son, Judah, but she often has him stay over. Max is a writer, and he is dating a girl named Iara. They can't get a ton of privacy now that May is there. It's not that May is nosy, it's just kind of changing the dynamic in the household. This is Audrina Nadeau. She lives in a very humble, cozy cottage in the woods. She runs an apothecary from home. She also works at the National Park teaching classes on foraging and natural living. She also runs the Renaissance Fair, which is super fun to visit, and a couple of the Sims in the save file work as actors there. Then we have Eulalia Navarrete. She is an awesome landlady, but she also is very nosy. So she will snoop and get into people's business and then try to help them and give a lot of unsolicited advice. She has 2 spoiled dogs named Pearl and Reginald. Next, we have the Oriana family. I think this is one of the first families I made last year. We've got Alan, Iara, and Luca. So Alan is the dad, Iara is a young adult, and Luca is a teenager. They are a very close family. They get along super well, they joke around together, and they support each other. They come from a lot of generational wealth, but Luca would rather live a simple life. He kind of wants a little farm, maybe a cottage, when he grows up. For now, he's working at the Corley farm. Not that he needs to work, he just really enjoys being with the animals. Iara invested in turning a warehouse into a big co-working space that has places for Sims to freelance, or they can go to the cafe, and she's very proud of herself with that. But she is really interested in robotics, and now that she's done that whole project, she really wants to go to college and get a robotics degree. She also teaches some classes at the Science Center just for fun. Alan is also into flipping, which is where Iara got her love of flipping buildings from. Alan is an investor in crappy apartment buildings, and he wants to fix them up so people can have better living situations. Even though he does that and he is kind, he is not the best when it comes to relationships, and he just broke Felicity's heart. Now we have the Peterson family. They are a young couple, and they have a toddler. Christopher is totally ready to be a parent. He loves partying and going out dancing, but he is totally willing to balance that with taking care of his daughter. Meanwhile, Ray, even though she's a very loving mother, she still wants to go out and party all the time and doesn't always prioritize her child the way that she should. Next, we have Nat, who is a photographer, and he has some of his nature photography hanging up in the Lighthouse Gallery. And then we have Gio, who is a marine biologist. So the two of them, they're very codependent, and they have a lot of shared interests, but they want to figure out their own identities, and they want to go move out into a more remote area. Next, we've got the Rendon family, who I mentioned earlier. So Edwin and Maureen and Orlando live in a big fancy mansion. Edwin is a very rich doctor. He has a secret girlfriend, Shirley, and then secret daughter, Noelle, and they live in the basement. Maureen can tell that everything is sort of becoming more distant between all of them, as her husband has some sort of secret that she's unaware of, and Orlando is, busy being a teenager. Maureen wants to kind of find her own identity outside of her family. Maureen wants to go back to culinary school. Orlando is a sports star of all sorts. He is on the football team, but he doesn't have very many friends because he is not very nice to them. Next, we've got 3 roommates, Vian, Kota, and Rhiannon. Kota is non-binary, and the 3 of them have a friends with benefits situation kind of going on. They don't want to necessarily date each other because they're just friends, but they are all woohoo partners. Vian just moved in with the other 2, and he's kind of recovering from a big fight with his family. Kota is into gemology, jewelry making, and tarot cards, and has a small business reading tarot. Rhiannon is a romance consultant, and she also works at the Love Club, but her real passion is photography. Kirsten and Felix are best friends that both really wanted to have a child but couldn't find the right partner, so they decided to build their life together. And so they really care about their daughter. Felix has a brewery that is thriving, and Kirsten is still trying to figure out her own identity because she's just wanted to become a mother for so long. Even though she's young, that was really what she felt like she wanted to be in life. But now that she has her daughter, she's also trying to explore other things like her love of pottery. Gulliver Ruffin is the first sim that I made in this entire save file, and I feel very attached to him, so please treat him nicely. Gulliver is a park ranger, and he lives in kind of a house that has fallen apart after his wife died. She was a painter. He is into woodworking, and he likes to spend a lot of time in nature. So he's still recovering from the loss of his wife, but he is kind of starting to take an interest in some other people as he finds healing through friendship. Next, we have the Sanchez family. We've got Xavier and Ria and their twin infants, Emiliano and Yesenia. Xavier opened a dance school. He's really talented. Ria also dances. She also teaches yoga classes at the dance studio. She likes to go out dancing at night. Xavier is happy to take care of the kids, but he's not entirely sure if she's been truthful about where she's spending her time. Next, we've got the Sasaki Maru household. Scarlett and Mitsuo have 2 kids, Sota and Miyu. The 2 of them are divorced, but they are still living in the same household. They each have their own room. They're trying to make co-parenting work all together. They also have businesses together. They own 2 shopping plazas. One of them is a retail lot with a lot of different stores in it, and one of them is a combined lounge and pizza parlor. Next, we have Tessa and Nora Schaefer. Tessa is a criminal. She steals a lot of expensive things, and she uses that to kind of manipulate her daughter Nora by saying, look, I've got you all this fancy stuff. I am taking care of you. Nora kind of goes to her tarot deck for guidance, but she doesn't like to spend a lot of time at home, and her mom is not kind to her. Tessa recently had a baby that she gave up for adoption, which was really bittersweet for Nora because she was really sad to lose her baby brother, but she also knows that he will have probably a much better life. Next, we have the Saxena family. We've got Kritika, Somya, and Rishan. They have a vegetarian restaurant and very high expectations for their children. This is Vian's family, if you remember him from before. He had a huge fight with his dad, Rishan. Kritika loves her restaurant, but she also gets very stressed by it. Somya is an artist, and she wants to go to college for art. She doesn't have a ton of training, but she believes in herself, and she wants to learn a lot more. But her parents don't totally approve of this because they don't feel that she's going to make much money, and they would rather hand her down the family restaurant than spend her time making paintings. Next, we have Alara and Finn Sinclair and their infant Quinn. They live in a very small trailer. It's really too small for the 3 of them, but they're trying really, really hard to provide a good life for Quinn. Finn is really into nature, and he works at Corley Farm, and Alara is a bartender. Their dream is to have a bigger property and to open a flower farm. Next, we've got Ricky Slade, who is a retired Olympic athlete. He took his fortune that he made doing social media stuff and collaborations with different brands. He made a ton of money, and he opened the fanciest gym and spa you could ever imagine, and it has an incredible view of the city. He lives in the penthouse. He's not really into romance, though, so even though a lot of people are interested in him, he just kind of focuses on himself and his career. Next, we have the Tierney Joe family: Ethan, Maeve, Connor, and Mali. Liam, and James. So Connor and Mali are the grandparents of this family. Their daughter is Maeve. Maeve's husband is Ethan, and the 2 of them have twins named Liam and James. Mali is a detective, and she's very skeptical of everybody. She doesn't have the skeptical trait. She just is like, well, my daughter's husband is not good enough for her. Like that. She's keeping a close eye on him. Connor is a salaryman. He enjoys video gaming with his grandchildren. He just really wants to retire. Maeve is a judge, and she prides herself on how fair she is, and really cares about social justice and criminal justice. Ethan is a stay-at-home stay-at-home dad. Maeve thinks that he needs to like get out and do something because the kids are involved in a lot more activities now. Ethan just spends all of his free time playing video games. They live in a really beautiful, big, stylish mansion. Liam and James get along very well, but Liam is kind of gloomy and James is very serious. He takes the rules very seriously and he takes his photography very seriously. Juliana Valentine is the granddaughter of Celine and the mother of Layla from earlier. Celine was raised by her grandmother Juliana. They have a family bakery and Juliana also teaches cooking classes there. Celine helps with the bakery, but she prefers playing video games. This is the Velez Tharp family. We have Elle and Ivy and their daughter Holly. Ivy is an actress and barista, and Elle is an aspiring lawyer. She is very public about caring for social justice, but she can also be kind of selfish, and a lot of it feels performative. This is the Whitlock family. We've got Ishana, Harvey, and their daughter Emma. Ishana is sort of the queen bee of the Young Mothers Club, and she also is very passionate about wellness, and she'll talk a lot about mental health and give people advice, but she's actually kind of manipulative and it's a lot of like toxic positivity, and she can be pretty mean. Harvey is a very loving dad. He's kind of cringy. He's got those dad jokes, but he's really charming and everybody likes him. We are almost to the end here. This is Gavin Willoughby. He's one of my favorite Sims just because I'm really into his dark academia style. He is a horror novelist. He lives in a boarding house with a bunch of other interesting characters. He is dating Coda from earlier. They have a sort of open relationship, but he doesn't want Coda to have an emotional relationship with anybody else, just him. Lastly, we've got Drake Woods. I find him very amusing. He is obsessed with the occult, specifically vampires. He has an occult shop that has everything from magical supplies to seance room, cauldron. He is not a vampire, but he walks around like one. And some people think this is like really cringy, but he's also made friends this way because he finds people that have similar interests. If you made it to the end of this video and you listened to all of that, I really hope that you enjoyed finding out more information about each family. There is so much that I want to put in these bios, but obviously, you can't fit tons and tons of information into each household description. While it is a little bit limited, feel free to ask me questions about anything. I'm also looking for feedback, so I'm not going to do too many major changes because this was a lot of work and it took absolutely forever. But of course, I'm always open to hearing your thoughts, and if there's anything that is like weird or doesn't make sense, just let me know and I will continue to adjust things until it's ready to release. Again, if you go on Patreon and follow me there, I'll probably be giving more information about play testing this save file once it's just about ready, and I'm really hoping to finish that up by the end of August. Thank you very much. I hope you guys all have a wonderful time playing this save file when it comes out.